and he died. Yeah, he died in 2002, and there I was, ironically sitting and listening to Hazy Shade of Winter, and it was a Saturday morning, and I'm like, I was thinking, you know what? I don't want to be stuck without any type of profession. And and everybody that I've ever met has said that I should go to law school. And I wanted to go to law school when I was a kid. So I took out my credit card. I went to the LSDAS website and signed up for the LSAT exam and the LSDAS file compilation service. Um, yeah, and I scheduled myself for the December bar exam. Not bar exam, the December LSAT, because that was the last one that would be acceptable for being accepted into law school for the 2003 semester.
So where did you end up going to law school?
Well, I had a lot of offers based on my LSAT score and based on the fact that I graduated.
You already had a graduate degree.
Oh, I already had a graduate degree, and my undergrad average from Manhattan College was 3.87. So all those things, I received scholarship offers from the University of Michigan. I received scholarship offers from Thomas Jefferson Law School in San Diego. I received a full scholarship offer from Coastal Florida Law School down in Jacksonville, and all that. But I wanted to stay in New York. I wanted to stay with my family, so I applied to New York Law School, and that is where I went for 4 years as an evening student.
Oh. And so you graduated
in 2007. There were 110 of us who started in the evening program in 2003. By the time of the second year, there were 71 of us. By the time I graduated, there were about 25 of us.
And what area of law were you interested in going into?
Well, after I had a great professor for criminal law, and he just inspired me. His name is Bob Blecker, and he's actually a very well-known kind of guy. He was a very impassioned speaker. We had great dialogues, in the classroom and all of that. That I really became enthusiastic about criminal law. And I ended up as a judicial intern with Judge Corriero.
How long did you work for Judge Corriero?
I worked for Judge Corriero for 1 semester, for the fall of 2005.
And then what did you do?
Well, then I went back to being a full-time student. Working with Corriero was a great experience. Especially, it was unique for 2 reasons. First of all, it was the juvenile justice part. So we dealt, for the most part, with youthful offenders and youthful offender adjudication. The second thing was that I had the view from behind the bench. And that is a beautiful view. Let me tell you, when you're not the one arguing, it is a beautiful view from behind the bench.
Well, I'm going to move it on a little bit. What did you end up doing after you graduated law school?
Right. Well, after I graduated law school, I was looking for a job at the same time that I was compiling my data for bar admission. And I had some really bizarre interviews. One was at the law firm of Harmon, Linder, and Rogowski. I met with Ira Rogowski, a guy with a massage table in his office. And he had files all the way up to the ceiling.
Well, what were you looking for? Did you want to go
I
into
was
a large firm, and then what kind of law practice did you want to do?
essentially I was looking for anything at that point. This was a slip and fall firm, and yeah, I mean, I wanted to. I wanted to. My original idea was to become an ADA. I met with Mike Fistel at the ADA's office, and he gave me some advice. But the ADA's office was somewhat tight, especially since, I didn't write anything for law review. I wasn't on the law review or anything like that. And, those are the type of things that they're looking for really when they're looking for, new lawyers. Yeah, so I did apply to the Manhattan DA's office. No real response. I applied to a couple of judges for clerk positions. I got very nice no thank yous. So that went on for about a year. Now, about 2 days after I took the bar exam, I met with a friend of the family. He's a partner in a law firm, Ceylon, Marrow, Dykeman, Newman, and Brody, Stu Newman. And we met for an informational interview. He said he didn't have any positions at his firm at that time, but we discussed things. We discussed intellectual property. It turns out that we knew a couple of the same people when it came to corporate law. So that was a nice conversation, and he wrote letters of recommendation for me to some of the bigger intellectual property firms, because intellectual property was another area that I concentrated in. And then a year later, this was June of 2008. I got a call I believe I got a call from his secretary saying, Stu Newman wants you to email him your resume. I was like, okay. I emailed him my resume. Then I heard a couple weeks or about a week later, I spoke with him, and he said, I'm thinking about adding on another associate, particularly for real estate and for commercial transactions. So they whisked me in. He said, I just have to convince my other partners that we need another associate. So I went back down to Ceylon Marrow. He whisked me into his office, all hush-hush, door closed, and he brought in his other partner, who was the head of the residential real estate division of the firm, Lou Brody, and I met with the both of them, and at the end of the interview, he said, we'd like to offer you a job. Well, actually, there were two interviews. One was in June, the other came in July, and it was at the end of that interview, the second interview, that they called me back. Actually, the first thing he said was, we'd like to offer you a job. So I became a transactional associate for corporate transactions as well as real estate transactions. And that's what I did for mingling in a little bit of, it was an unfortunate thing, mingling in some litigation in there. Because Lou Brody, when I asked if I would be, because I was actually trained at New York Law School to draft litigation papers. So I asked Lou Brody if I'd be involved with any litigation. He said, we have enough litigators. He said, if you want to do litigation, there are plenty of other law firms out there. So I was like, okay. I was like, that's fine. So I was involved in corporate transactions and real estate transactions. And it's funny, by my third day over there, I was already meeting with clients in the real estate realm, and I did that for 8 months, and then the bottom fell out of the stock market, and all the partners were scrambling for their 401ks, and they fired half the staff. I was one of the half. They fired half their secretaries, they fired half their associates, they fired, I think, just about all the paralegals. So yeah, so that was 2008. In 2000, I was looking for work, and collecting unemployment. And then in 2010, I said, you know what? I'm going to have to make my own opportunity in this. And that's when I founded the Spett Law Firm. And I've had some successes. I've taken on some litigation pro bono. I saved an elderly woman and her profoundly disabled daughter from being evicted from their apartment on 142nd Street. I was involved in defending against in representing a defendant in a predatory mortgage case. So I had some successes there. I put in a lot of pro bono time.
Mostly in real estate issues?
In real estate litigation, yeah. And also on the transactional side, I put together a restaurant in Yonkers, that type of thing, because I was used to one of the big things that we did at Ceylon Marrow. One of our big clients was a restaurant group. So I was already used to the whole restaurant thing. So.
And your office is in Manhattan?
Yes, my office is at 380 Lexington Avenue.
And you still live here in Riverdale?
Yes, I do.
Right.